You are entering E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
So, Bird, today is my birthday.
Today's a
day
very
we're
special
recording
day.
this.
Are you gonna sing yourself happy birthday, or you want me and Mega Matt to sing happy birthday? You ready, Matt?
Let's
really?
do it.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to
pick it up,
my
Matt.
God.
You.
Happy birthday.
I can't do it.
To-
Matt.
Whoa! Can't get like really? That was abysmal.
I was just finding my groove.
That sounded like two rabid foxes trying to mate.
I didn't get to do a vocal warm up, but I'm not going to complain.
But you were very slow on the delivery.
I was following you.
You know what? That sounded like you two took like antidepressants and about a bottle of wine apiece and decided to try and slur your way through happy birthday to me.
For he's a jolly
I'm not
good
gonna say-
fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate the effort anyway. I also appreciate all the edgeheads on the Twitter. Yeah. Oh, wishing me happy birthday. It was very nice, because I am over here alone on my birthday and I miss my family. So it was actually very nice to read. So I thank you all.
And you're old.
Thank you for the birthday wishes. You're only as old as you feel, brother.
Yeah.
You got to just keep moving. Motion is lotion. Yeah. Went to the gym today. I got my gym on. Although I did have a guy in the dressing room say, that he loved the podcast.
Oh, cool.
And, so people are listening all over the world. Jay, brother.
Worldwide,
Here we
brother.
go. Rocket strappers to the moon.
E&C worldwide.
People are listening.
Yeah.
People are listening. But he did say to me, he goes, so what are you? And he said, my weight in stone. And I went, I don't know what that means. And he goes, well, in kilograms. And I still didn't. And he goes, so you're like 256. And I went, that's a very exact number. I'm not 256.
Did you let him know you're down to 231?
I didn't, because then I started thinking maybe I still am a fat bastard if I look like I'm 256.
But then again, maybe the kilogram thing throws him off. Maybe he's not totally correct on his poundage.
Maybe, Bird. Maybe. So what'd you do this week? What's going on? What are you up to? What's up in the old bird nest?
I went to a farm yesterday.
You went to a farm?
Yeah, I took my daughter to a farm. Took her there for the day, for a little Halloween, little pumpkin patch, corn maze, lots of activities. Yeah, that's about all I did this weekend. I painted. I did some painting. We're doing some home renovation that I decided to
Okay.
do it myself.
Because
DIY, brother.
Okay, I accept that because I immediately pictured you with a canvas and trying to paint, and I know that would not end well.
It would be very abstract.
That it would. Hey, I've been painting this week though. So you know what I've done? Yes. Because
easel in your room?
No.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need an easel. No, I didn't. I have all of Lyric's quotes. For those that follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I put her quotes on Twitter, basically so I won't forget them. But then I got this book called My Quotable Kid, so I write down her quotes, and now I am illustrating and watercolor painting all of the quotes in a little notebook to one day give her.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got spare time over here, Bird, so,
Yeah. That's a good way to fill your time. Could do worse things, right?
Right. I could be out, hanging out in a gutter and doing heroin or something, but I'm not doing that.
That's a little extreme. I wasn't going to go that far, but I mean,
I've never done heroin in my life, by the way.
You could have been gone to a Fozzy concert or something.
I did go to a Fozzy concert.
I know.
As a matter of fact.
How was it?
Yeah.
Good time.
Well, so here's the deal. I was at a cast dinner, and I told him I didn't know if I'd be able to make it in time for the show. I told Chris. So I get to the venue as the people are coming out. I was like, so the show's done, huh? And they're like, yeah. And then it's like, hey, everybody, and we got a bunch of pictures. And then I rolled in and saw good old Christoph or Jericho. Yeah. And we got caught up. It was nice. It was, I didn't even realize he was in town until, again, apparently the only way I glean any information nowadays is through Twitter. If the first 10 minutes of this is any indication, and I saw someone tweeted us that we were both in the same town. I was like, what? Hold on a second. What?
C-Man. Together again.
C-Man, are you in Dublin?
Yeah.
You in Dub City? He was. I just named
D-Dub?
that. I don't... D-Dub?
I don't know. I'm just making things up.
I like Dub City better.
Dub?
Dub City.
The Dub?
No. Dub City.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what else is going on in the world of Edge?
In the world of me?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
So, I guess I'll bring it up because we've got
You're going to bring it up.
We've got a lot of tweets about it and stuff. I guess there was a few releases here
Oh.
in the last day or so.
Okay. I had no idea what you were going to say, so
Yeah,
okay.
No,
All right.
I mean, I guess a few talent got released and people were asking what our thoughts are. We're going to talk about it on the podcast. I mean, there's not really much to say. I mean, you obviously
sucks.
don't want it. It sucks.
You know?
You don't want anybody to lose their job or their career or anything like that. So you just hope for the best for all the people that it has happened to, and that they land on their feet and figure something out. If they truly love wrestling, they'll continue on and make other avenues. And we've seen that's a very viable option now with all the other promotions and stuff, not only in the U.S. but around the world. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it sucks. I get it. It's a business, and at some point there is going to be a fluctuation in the talent roster and things like that. I don't know the reasons for anyone. I don't know if there even necessarily needs to be a reason. It's just the way the business is sometimes.
It's like any being on any pro sports team. It's a "what have you done for me lately" type business, and
But then the difficult part of that is if you don't get a chance to
Right.
do anything
Yeah,
for
but,
me lately, then that
and then
becomes
some, in
difficult
some
too.
people's case, I mean, you look at a guy like Drew McIntyre, right? He was released, and it actually helped him. You know, it sucked at the time, and I'm sure. And we talked to him. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, could do yourself a favor and go back and listen to it because it was
There you
great
go,
talk.
Bird. Oh, I like what you did there, Bird.
Yeah, but a guy like him, it really helped him, and he came back, and he's been better than he ever has. So in some respects, it's almost like, hey, we don't have anything for you. You're just kind of spinning your wheels, and this is a chance for you to go out and better yourself. And then, but I mean, I'm not saying that's the case for any of these. I don't, like I said, I'm the same way. I don't know any of the circumstances behind it, but you just hope that everybody involved lands on their feet because you don't like to see anybody lose their job.
Well, yeah, and like you said, Drew took the right mentality, and he was like, okay, well, this isn't it, and went and continued to work everywhere. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, you should. It's a really, really good one, and great mentality. So,
But
all
then
you can do is hope the best for everybody.
Yeah, there was another little controversy, I guess. An NXT talent had tweeted something out, I guess, about Emma being released, which was a little bit surprising because she had a pretty good showing, I thought, the last month or so on TV and on the pay-per-view against Asuka and all those sorts of things. And
beyond that, if you watch her history of work and her and Paige for the first, NXT Women's Championship, and I mean, she can go. And just a lot of times you don't get the opportunity to necessarily show it.
Yeah, I feel like she's the type of performer that will go out and become stronger and do some things. So, I wouldn't be shocked to see her back someday.
Nor I.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of Emma, there was an NXT talent. I'd never heard of the guy before, so I don't really know who it is. It was like Leo something or Leo Rush or something. Somebody tweeted me the thing, but I guess he had said something kind of, I guess he had probably meant it to be somewhat cool or funny, saying this is what happens when you're truly not ready for Asuka. And man, It's like, here's the thing. I mean, yes, the guy made a mistake. He probably regrets doing what he did, but that's what we talked about before with social media and stuff like that these days. And it's another reason why we should probably do an episode at some point about the changing in technology. But just think before you push the send button. You know what I mean?
Just don't.
Read it over a couple times and be like, what am I sending out here to the world? Because once it's out there, it's out there. Use your head. That's all you have to do. Use some common sense.
Talent and brains don't always go hand in hand.
Right.
But I don't know the kid, but definitely not a good idea because you're now making a joke about someone's livelihood. And I'm sure he,
Not only that, it's the guy that obviously hasn't even accomplished anything near what, at this point, Emma's accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a smart thing to do. It's not just for him, but for any aspiring wrestler that wants to step up and make a name for himself and really go places. Use your head before you push the send button.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just don't, right? Yeah. That's all. And I think maybe WWE has like even classes now on social media and how to deal with this whole new thing that isn't necessarily new anymore, but just the ramifications, the repercussions that can happen from what you put out there. I go for the most controversial thing is lyrics quotes, where she says, "I smell annoying." I smell annoying. She said,
"You do smell annoying."
I smell annoying.
You do.
I smell difficult. She said.
I like that. You smell annoying, and I think that should be on a T-shirt.
Yeah. You smell annoying. That would be good. Yeah. Wait, does that mean I got to share the royalties with her, though?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I guess it does.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Want it all to myself. Well. Hey, I just saw I got tweeted by Vince. Happy birthday. Thanks, man. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. No, but seriously, thank you, everybody. It was especially today, kind of sitting in what is technically my hometown for right now, on a bank holiday when nothing's really open. It was very nice to read all the birthday wishes. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a pretty big show here today.
We do.
We got
our guest today. Our guest today is Brian Gewirtz.
I like how much he hates when somebody calls him Gewirtz.
Well, which is why I had to do it.
Yeah, right. One Brian Gewirtz, brother. Yep. And he, if you don't know who he is the former head writer of Raw of WWE.
I think just WWE.
He kind of came in not long after we came in. We had a long history with him. He was very much responsible for Edge and Christian kind of finding their groove, helping us out a lot, both together as a team and singles, as well as Jericho, The Rock, Kurt Angle. The list goes on, but a very talented, funny guy, good friend of ours, and who now works very closely with The Rock with $7 Productions. So we'll talk about that. Yep. The new podcast they're producing, What Really Happened. So
yeah, they've acquired a super group of podcast and a really, really interesting concept. What Really Happened, and the first week, which is already out, you can go back and listen to, was the story of Muhammad Ali talking, a jumper down from suicide and what was really happening, and even the climate of the times and how that affected the story, and just really, really interesting stuff. It's like an audio documentary, and so yeah. That's one of the things he's up to now. That dude is busy.
Yeah.
He's The Rock's right hand man.
He's a busy little beaver.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, but
I'll tell you a funny story about Brian. So he's just a quirky, funny dude. And one time we were at WrestleMania in Anaheim before we won our first tag team championships, and you and I had some appearance we had to go and do. And he called me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Well, we're going to do this appearance and we're going to go meet, He's like, "What do you want to meet at Dave & Buster's?" Like, "Yeah, we'll meet you there after." And I said, "Hey, my wife is at the hotel. Would you mind taking her?" He's like, No, because he knows Denise. So they met downstairs, and I kept joking with him and said, "Hey, you'd be a gentleman. You're taking my wife out on your first date, blah blah blah, the whole thing." And he took her to the Dave & Buster's, and then like she basically followed him around like a kid. He ran around all these things and won all these tickets. And instead of being a gentleman and buying the lady a toy, he bought himself all these things and come back and he's like holding all these things for himself. And she's just standing. She's like, "No, I just watched him win these things." I was like, he's like, "What?" So I still tell him to this day that he's the worst date my wife's ever had. So
Brian. So we'll talk about our history with him, his history just in general with working with, like you said, some of the the biggest talents in the history of the industry, and some of the most comedic, charismatic characters. And I think there's a reason why he was a glue to a lot of those characters. So maybe that'll be illuminating for a lot of people to realize and hear. So without further ado, should we get to young Brian?
I think we should, and I think we should also give him something he would really appreciate, a good old Michael P.S. Hayes.
Here we go.
Gooseberry.
We're gallivanting all over the world, and Brian has the advantage today. He's in the studio with Mega Matt.
No,
this is our worlds colliding.
That's more of a disadvantage, I would think.
Is that a commentary on Matt?
A little bit.
Oh,
a little bit.
Because I stare at you the whole time.
Yeah.
So, Bird, while you were, whatever you were doing, Brian and I were talking about the fact that it was, what, you think 2000, Brian?
I think it was 2000, yeah.
Brian's here. I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah, I am here because...
You're the last one, Jay.
Well, that was a shock.
I was about to send you a Words with Friends move, but I think I'm going to just can it for now.
Yeah, you were also one of my Words with Friendies.
Yes.
We have a very long-running feud as well on Words with Friends.
Now, Brian, do you have a long-running feud with Kofi?
No, I've never played Kofi.
Ooh, so you're the center of that universe, Jay.
Yeah, you're the Words with Friend-in-law. Because you're good, because, I got to tell you, and I don't mind dropping this name here, because he's just a baby. Miz played me several times, and he lost all the time.
Yeah.
Because he has a short attention span, and, he's not as smart as us. I mean, let's face it. And then he finally won a game, so he was like 1 for 5. And then, of course, you could say, "Oh, the last game is the only one that matters. I don't need to play anymore. I'm done.
Because he's Ted.
Yeah. Like, are you serious? Like, yeah, we're done. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Oh, good times. Good times. Good times.
So
and 17 years ago, we were talking about it before you got on. We believe it was 17 years ago. I guess today, that we did my birthday party in Boston.
Yeah.
At the TD Bank Garden Arena or whatever.
That was pretty ridiculous, huh?
That was one of the funnest shows I think we've ever did.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. That was the birth of the unicorn that new day. I think probably went back, watched tapes, and decided that hat on their forehead was a good thing to mimic, and created the unicorn for them.
Yeah. That's
probably not, but that's my theory.
That was the original kazoo night too?
That was original kazoo night. That was Edge's birthday party where you got picked. I don't know. Would you get each other like pictures of each other or something?
I think something like that. Yeah.
And then Triple H threw you out of the room. Stephanie was sick or something. It was like right in the middle of the love triangle. And I think that was the first time you did kazoos that just even introduced the idea of chanting something with Kurt's music.
It was that, and we also did the My Time music, Triple H's music at the time. It's about time. It's about time.
Because we had the kazoo, and we're like, oh, look, I can play our theme music. And then I started doing it, and I just went, you think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me. And then Triple H blew a gasket. And I was like, relax, Gay Malicious. I can play your music too. And then I started doing it, and then Edge was going, it's my time. And then he kicked us out.
Yeah. And then he said, when are we doing the bit?
Yeah, right. I think Stephanie had a legit cold too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, we weaved reality so seamlessly.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do, man.
And a little known fact about that segment too is that Mick Foley was lobbying hard because he knew how much fun we were going to have in that room. He was lobbying hard to be hiding behind the couch, and he wanted to come up and make an appearance, and he kept getting shot down, and he was fighting it all the way to the end. He wanted to be in there behind the couch. So.
See, and those are the little things that I forget that Jay remembers. He's got like this weird elephant memory. Yeah. Well, before we get too much further, we at least have to, set the parameters of what our relationship is here, just for those that don't know. for whatever reason, I think because we're all nerds and, like you said, all highly intelligent, highly functioning people, we started working together. I think you had like a core of people that you really connected with and worked with backstage in terms of promos and pre-tapes and things like that. And it was us, and it was Rock, and it was Jericho and Kurt, and who else?
Yeah, that was probably the starting five of my first go around. I think like Al Snow and Steve Blackman
starting
too.
Lineup.
Yeah, it's a great starting lineup. Because I was as a writer and everything, you're supposed to write for everybody, but like human nature gets in the way. I mean, I was intimidated by a lot of people. And if nobody was, I always figured like, Triple H is very intimidating and he's a big star, and he always seemed to put his material together himself. So it's like, okay, great. He's all set. Rock I had met, at MTV before coming here, so I kind of knew him. And he, helped me get an interview with WWE in the first place. So we clicked right away, and Mick too, and Jericho. This was during the time when Jericho was like, going through a period where it's like, I'm losing a viscera on heat. What the hell's going on? That type of thing. And then you guys, I mean, we clicked right away. Is where I think, we're all the same age. Mm-hmm. I pretended to like hockey for a little bit just to open up
just
doors.
To get in the door.
Yeah. I was like, hey, Dale Howardchuk, huh? Remember him? He was good. I'm like, Edge and Christian like hockey. I'm trying to.
Such a random name.
I'm like scrambling in my mind to remember watching Jiggs McDonald on the Islander telecast as a kid. And I'm like, yeah.
Jiggs McDonald.
Yeah, Bossy got another hat trick, huh? Yeah. Probably.
But I remember too when you first came in, I think that you hit it off pretty well with Tommy Blacha, who had been working with us a little bit at that point.
Well, he was the only writer there, and turned out like he's really cool and funny and everything. So that was fortuitous.
Yeah,
and Tommy is another weird cat too. That I think just our sense of humor was enough out there, and in terms of like nowadays, it seems it's the prevailing sense of humor, but back then it really wasn't.
Yeah. Like he didn't have to pretend to like hockey. He did like hockey. He was a Red Wings fan.
Yes, he was a Red Wings fan, and he has this thing that I don't have, which is just natural likability and affability with everyone. It's like everybody loved Tommy. Yeah. He was hanging out with like everybody after the show, and he was there like from October of '99 to April of 2000, and is remembered fondly by everybody. He has no list of enemies. He has no wait, what did this person just say on the internet? Oh my god, that type of thing. I saw him last time I was in LA. He's very nice. Yeah,
I haven't seen him for a while.
We had some deli.
Oh, cool.
He will
no.
Oh no.
He will send me random odd texts, usually at about 3 a.m, still to this day, and I truly never know how to respond because that's Tommy. Yeah. And I'm not even going to go into what they are because half the time I don't even know. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, we I think, like I said, back then, because we're nerds, right? And I mean that in a good way. But at that point, that locker room was not that.
No.
And I think at that point, when we all got together and started spitballing ideas and everything, that's kind of what set us apart at that point. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I just remember all the three of us, and when Tommy was there, the four of us, just throwing ideas at the wall, and if it made us all laugh, we tried it. Yeah,
it was much less. I mean, the structure backstage was much less rigid than it is, I think, now, or even 5 years after that period of time, just because it was very kind of Wild West a little bit, but it was very easy. I mean, when you're starting out as a writer, you have disadvantages in the sense of you don't, quote unquote, as was told to me many times by many different talents, know the business. But you do have an advantage in the sense of like, well, I'm a fan who knows what I like. So it's in some ways it's actually good to not know the business in some respects, because you could just pitch anything and throw out anything and don't have to be hindered by, well, yeah, that wouldn't work because of, you could just throw something out there and, if other talent respond to it and make it better, obviously, then, you have something there and you could work with it versus, having the foresight and knowing why something wouldn't work. So yes, there are negatives that come with it too, but there's also a lot of fun in just going, well, listen, I will be the first to admit I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I was in the Village. I bought these sunglasses. I think they're pretty funny looking. Maybe you should wear them on national television in front of 10 million people.
Yeah. But you did have an advantage in that you grew up a fan of wrestling. You didn't just walk into this.
That's true.
Walk into it at that point. You loved it. So you did come in with that advantage. I think if people were willing to get past the fact that you hadn't been involved in a backstage capacity in the business, but us, Chris, Kurt, Dwayne, we were willing to hear that out,
No, and we've had the same, and you posted that tweet like a while ago. It's still getting likes with your LGN ring and everything finally breaking down. I get so excited. Like, no, it's just that Edge tweet from like 4 years ago. But I had the same action figures. I had the big Roddy Piper poster over my bed and everything, and like staying up late to watch Saturday night's main event. Like we all had those great same memories and love for the business that helps. It definitely helps. You can't. It's much different for people, and not that it's impossible to come in cold and adapt, but you have a major advantage.
No, it is an advantage being a fan too, right? Because then you can put yourself in the shoes of the fan. Even as a performer, you can do that as well. Like many times where, putting a match together, like, well, if I was a fan, what would I want to see this guy do against this guy? And that, there's an advantage to just being a lifelong fan and maybe not being quote unquote in the business, but understanding as a fan what you would like to see.
Yeah, and then the advantage comes when you actually, accrue some experience and some years, because then you still have that perspective as a fan, because you'll always, as long as you're not taking bumps and stepping in the ring, which you shouldn't really be doing as a writer, you'll always have that perspective. Plus, you'll get the knowledge of, just...
Didn't you have to take bumps once?
That's where I want to get to. Yeah, we can get to it now.
All right.
Didn't you take like a super power bomb from Bubba at one point?
Well,
or something like it's so ridiculous as a bump, like not just like a standing bump. Yeah. You took something really dumb.
Yeah. Well, first off, there was a ring in the we worked at the studio at the time. Like there's a studio in Stamford, Connecticut where all the television production's made. And then there's the corporate offices where I believe everything is, the writers and everyone else work out of now. But back then there was, not only were we working at the studio, but there was a ring at the studio. And Shane, who we all love and respect as a maniac, was like, you got to get in the ring and start taking some bumps so you could understand, what the talent's going through, which again, in theory makes total sense. Because it's very cavalier to be like, yeah, and you'll just run up and down and you'll hit someone with a flying thing and then you'll pick up a chair. It's kind of dangerous if you really don't know the consequences of that. And that's why, obviously there's Vince and all the producers there to kind of keep you in check. But we did a little, drill, I guess, in the ring where it's just like running the ropes and taking flat backs. And then and it literally is just the biggest wimp in the, after like 3 minutes, I'm like, I'm nauseous. And I had to step aside. I was. It was like,
I get it. It's just the way you said it.
Yeah. Oh no, my biggest whiny voice. And I thought that was it. But then what you're referring to was the infamous, the only time SmackDown was ever canceled for snow.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore, which has that weird high school stage production layout. Anyway, it's the whole thing's a little surreal. And then we were just kind of futzing around. I saw Tommy was in the ring. Tommy Blaccio was taking a suplex from somebody.
So ridiculous.
So absolutely would be just unheard of nowadays, but
completely.
And the lawsuits alone, oh my god! And so Bubba and Devon are there, and he's just like, let's do a power bomb. I don't know when he became the Brooklyn Brawler, but for the sake of the story,
He is now.
yeah. And so I'm like, and then Shane's like, yeah, you got to do it. Come on, let's go. I'm like, okay. And so, so we kind of like climb up to the second rope. Now there's a huge crowd around the ring. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? And Devon's kind of setting me up there, and like it looks like on the top of the Empire State Building or something. It's so high up. And then right as Bubba is about to go, Shane's like, tuck your head in. I'm like, what? And then boom, he's in midair. And like I tuck my head. Bubba's a pro. He took the majority of the bump on his ass or something like that. But yeah, it was exhilarating, and it was like wow. And I'm like walking around, like afterwards, like it knocked the wind out of me. But like there was a certain kind of swagger now, like walking around like the hotel bar afterwards, and like that was freaking awesome. I don't know if you can curse on this.
You can. You can say whatever you want.
But I have no desire to ever do that again. But that was great.
No,
but you did it. Yeah,
I thought that might be the precursor to your cruiserweight persona, the Herky Jerk Kid.
Oh yes. The Herky Jerk Kid. That's when, just so I'll inform Matt, that's when we would be out on the town, and everyone would, because I don't know if the writers and wrestlers still hang out after the show or not, but we used to.
I don't know, but we used to hang out.
Yeah, all the time, and be like, oh yes, yeah, I'm Edge, and that's Christian, and that's the Herky Jerk Kid. He's a new cruiserweight that's coming up. I'm going to hit you with the Herky Jerk. I'm joking, of course, but I can do it.
Yeah. Speaking of hanging out, well, this is going to be kind of all over the place, but speaking of hanging out with wrestlers, do you remember in San Jose after I had that cage match with Jericho and we were sitting in P.F. Chang's and my back seized up on me and you had to carry me out of the restaurant?
I do remember that.
It was just so fun. Brian's like looking at me, he's like, are you okay? And I was like kind of shifting and I'm like, I think my back is, I'm fine. So we finished the meal and then we get up to leave and I'm like, Brian, I can't walk. And he's like, what? I was like, I can't walk. You're going to have to carry me out. And this look of horror on his face because like Brian's kind of weird. He's kind of a touch freak anyway. So
a touch freak.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah. So I'm like, Brian, you're going to have to carry me out. And he's like, I'm like, just come here. And I like have my arm and I couldn't like move my leg and I'm like dragging my feet. And he's like, like carrying me out almost, and like people are staring at us, and he's like almost kind of like turning beet red and stuff. It was pretty cool.
There were times when I think one of them was dragging Jay out of a PF Chang's in San Jose, and I think another one was 2:00 in the morning with Lance Storm at a Waffle House in Kentucky. Where you just sort of, it's one of like that Green Day Time of Your Life video where like all of a sudden you just zoom in and you're just like, how did I get here? What is my life?
Yeah.
What is happening?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were like those two moments for some reason.
Speaking of that San Jose show, this just reminded me of that for some reason. I don't know if you remember this. You might have blocked it out. But we're buddies, right? So we always kind of mess with each other and stuff like that. And you and I were talking, and I was doing a pre-tape interview for this match. And we were talking, and you were trying to get me to do something. I can't remember exactly what it was, when I was kind of jokingly fighting you about it. And you had your stack of all your papers and your run sheets and everything in your hand. You're just kind of holding them there. And I just, for whatever reason, I smacked them out of your hands. And they hit the ground. And when you bent over to pick them up, I kicked them down the hallway. And when we looked down, all the sheets landed, and Vince was walking down the hallway right at his feet. And I looked up and I went, oh my God, he's gonna scream. And all of a sudden he burst out laughing. He's like, and he turned around and walked away. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't really, but I could totally believe that. I was actually
completely.
A little notorious for at like rehearsals or something like that, throwing my sheets in the air and storming off in a huff, and then of course coming back to pick them up and neatly assemble them.
So we talked about, we would hang out.
Steer the ship, Adam, please.
Well, I have to every once in a while. I realize it's my job. So we talked about.
I do the remembering. He does the steering.
Yeah, and you're trying to steer me off against. Shut up. So we would sit there, and we would hang out. And at that point, that wasn't really done in terms of, heat with the boys kind of thing. And I mean, we got to probably talk about the Wrestler's Court and all of us going to Wrestler's Court because we hung out and because I bought you a Flash action figure.
Yeah, I don't want to, I touched on it on, I do so many podcasts,
Yeah.
yours and Jericho's, and talked about
So
it.
many.
Yes.
Don't worry, we'll bleep Jericho's name out.
Oh, okay. Our friend,
He's like Voldemort.
Yeah.
he shall not be named. This was before there was a dress code, and I was just a poser. I think I wanted to, give the look of, hey, he's cool living in New York City and lower, whatever. I would just wear comic book T-shirts. I hadn't really read comic books, since 5th grade or whatever, 6th grade, but I did like the Flash. I always loved the Flash, and wasn't shy about letting the locker room know. It just so hey, Stone Cold, guess who I like?
Yeah.
I like Flash.
The fastest man alive, the Scarlet
shirt.
Speedster.
Barry Allen rules.
Yeah. So what's funny, what's underreported is that Jerry Lawler also got me some Flash figurines once, because he does all those comic book shows and everything, and no consequences whatsoever. But Bob Holly didn't see you give me the Flash figure that you got for free, so it wasn't like payola or anything.
Writing payola. Hey, here, put us on the show, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing that I never understood. It's like, we were already on the show. We're already clicking all cylinders. We're already, like, doing TLC matches. We're killing it.
Yeah.
And
but when did this gift process start? You see, that's the thing. If you see the Flash
That's
being
the question.
transferred, this is hardly the first one. You're assuming this is
It all started with a Superman action figure. I know it.
Yeah,
But we were already doing some of these things before you came along, and Tommy kind of Blotcha. Once you and Tommy kind of joined forces, we kind of took off really from there. But
but everybody liked
Tommy.
Tommy. He's not going to wrestler's court for a Flash figure.
So
we should also
I get a
talk-
Flash.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
I get a Flash figure. I give it to Brian because I assume he wears the T-shirt so that he's a Flash fan. I was like, I got this. I don't want it because I like Flash, but I'm a Thor guy and a Daredevil guy. So I give it to Brian. Bob Holly sees it. Next thing you know, we're going to wrestler's court because we're payola.
Yeah. Well, and the yes, you gave me a Flash figure. That's indisputable. But the big rumor was when we were in Nassau, Long Island, where I grew up.
Yeah.
My mother invited the two of you over to my childhood home, and the three of us
Broke bread.
with my parents.
Yeah.
We had like lentil soup or something, right?
Matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup.
As
There
the
we go.
hurricane would point out. Because that's the funny thing is I legit invited the Hurricane to my house for Thanksgiving dinner once when the WWE did the Thanksgiving parade. He had nowhere to go. And we had matzo ball soup, and surprisingly, Hurricane was not an aficionado of matzo ball soup.
Surprisingly.
What exactly is in this matzo ball soup? I'm like, matzo balls? That does not help me. He texts me every Thanksgiving going, what exactly is in the matzo ball soup?
Yeah, so there was some sort of rumor that we were invited to your parents' place, and we went there and we had a big feast.
Yes, which would have been delightful, but
It would have been.
It didn't happen. But
never happened.
no, but that raised the ire of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you guys were completely prepared for it. That's the thing.
Well, we received an anonymous tip from I don't want to say his name here because I don't want to.
Got to keep it
him.
anonymous.
We'll
we may go
say,
back.
We'll call him Bert Angel for
the mystery deepens.
And we received a call from him in between towns. He's like, "You guys didn't get this call from me." And we're like, "Okay, you're going to wrestler's court tomorrow." And we're like, "For what?" For kissing ass with the writers. We're like, "Okay." He's like, "I just wanted to let you know, but you didn't get this call, okay? I gotta go."
And it hangs up.
Yeah,
Nice.
Might be tapped
yeah.
Yeah, remind me to thank Kurt the next time I see him for the heads up too.
for not giving
Which I
you the
never
heads
got.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead, kid. So
Let's just set the stage. This is Wrestler's Court. It's a time-honored, I don't know if they do it now, I don't think they do, but it's this time-honored tradition of sort of self-policing within the locker room. And, you know, with lots of, you know, the entire roster there. And not only the roster, but all the agents and all the referees, you know, pretty much everybody sort of. And I wasn't told that, because I was told like, oh, it's, you know, it's a rite of passage, you know, you get pizza and beer. And I like literally got a box of pizza and a 6-pack of beer. I'm like, because I thought it would be like a tribunal or something.
One figured out. Tribunal.
You know, like, yeah, there'll be like 5 people. We'll discuss the misunderstanding. Everyone will enjoy some pizza and beer, and then we'll be on our way. And then no, so like I like burst in the door.
Roster, yeah.
Like there's over 100 people there.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
so
no.
we got tipped off, and then we had we discussed it on the drive what we were going to do, and then we decided we were going to flip it back on them. And it was a little risky, but we thought we were going to go this way. And so we decided on making a book. 'Cause a lot of talent were getting book deals at this time, and I think China's the time was about to come out. And so we had got to the building early, and we took a book, just whatever book, and we took it to Richie, who used to do the props and the magic. And we told him, we didn't tell him what was going on, but we just said, hey, we need this book, and we need the cover to be our picture. We gave him a picture, and then we needed to say, Edge and Christian, kissing, how to kiss ass, our road to the top. And that was the name of the book.
Yeah.
With a picture of us with total shit-eating grins.
Yeah. And so we had also came up with this speech where we were going to talk about how, you know, we have been kind of pegged as ass kissers, and we weren't going to hide from it. And, you know, we presented the book, and we said, you know, there's a lot of ass kissers on this roster, so we'll take the fall for all of them. And like this, like we just kind of just owned up to all of it. And then we, at the end of it, we kind of said, you know, a lot of talent have been getting book deals. We probably should just tell you now, so you're not surprised when you find out. But because of, you know, the stuff we've been doing, we've received a book deal. And you could see like silence in the room. You could hear a pin drop and just people's faces turning beet red. They were mad. Like, this guy's been here for like a year. They get a book already and blah, 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 all this stuff. And we pulled the book out. We read the title, and the whole room like burst out in laughter. And like, Bob Holly had tears coming out his eyes. He was laughing.
So you two
even
were
Steve Blackman was laughing.
such a delight.
Yeah, and then
and then
after we left, I actually remember Triple H coming up to us and goes, "Guys, that's the best defense I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah. It was so wonderful. But if you recall, the three of us were up there together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you two worked it like gangbusters. You ever remember that the little Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are playing like to the big house, and Bugs does his routine and like standing ovation and roses, and then Daffy comes out and does his stick, and it's just like cricket, silence. That I think is an appropriate, you know, approximation of our day in Wrestlers Court, because you got like you're using prop comedy, you're doing like funny anecdotes. JBL, you know, as the prosecutor, you know, said this is like, well, you know, the Mr. Gewirtz here, he has. I'm like, excuse me. My last name is Gewirtz, so if we're going to get this sham of a trial underway, the least you could do is get my name right. Thinking like, oh, it's tongue-in-cheek. They'll like that I stood up to John. Like, nothing. Nothing. In fact, just even more anger. The people need to be, like, restrained. Everybody is you know, putting over Adam and Jay. Oh, like, you know, you boys, you learned your lesson, you little... Scallywags. And then like, and I learned my lesson too. No, you didn't. Just so much.
But
so
you're
much
going
anger.
to. Yeah.
But to be fair, there was a lot of pressing, you know, like I did only do Sunday Night Heat at the restaurant in Times Square when you guys hosted. Because that was our like fun little adventure. We went off on the street and did vignettes with my friends and stuff like that over in the city.
Yeah,
and chased the Brooklyn Brawler chased us in a cane mask.
Yeah, that's right.
And we got on the TRL set.
We got on the TRL set, and that was me being so stupid, being like, "How will it end? Will it end in a concerto? What the hell, right? A concerto." And Brawler's like, "Yeah, you know what? I don't think that's such a good idea." I'm like, No, a concerto. They hit the chairs. They don't hit you. You'll be fine on stage, live. Just take it. Like, I feel so dumb now. I apologize for that, Steve, if you're listening. Because there's some risk involved. I wouldn't want to do a concerto. It's like, Vince's philosophy, don't do anything you wouldn't do yourself. I'm like, hell no, I wouldn't do a concerto.
And he made it that far, and all of a sudden these two Canadians with chairs on a stage in a restaurant.
Something in a ring,
Yeah.
In a dimly lit restaurant.
I mean, we were so full of ourselves. Like, I remember when, your guys' T-shirts came out, we added the flourish, and it was for basically all of us. It is basically something on the back. I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do, but it said reeking of awesomeness since 1973.
Yeah.
The year all three of us were born.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, that's a little limiting. You want to just say reeking of awesomeness? No, it must say 1973 because that's the year the three of us are. Yeah. And I think it's cool.
There was a few points of like, no, it's 73. That's because that's when we're born. That's when
it shows how young we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that court thing, that spiraled out of control rather quickly. I remember Stone Cold walked out about halfway through it. He had seen enough. Pat came in when Stone Cold was leaving and didn't really understand that there was like, tension with me and the other people. So he was like, that little shit, he changed the finish of the matches. Hey!
Which just like completely ramped it up on top of what was already happening.
Yes. Heyman said so. Like everybody was testifying against us.
Yeah.
Taz,
Heyman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was cool. And then that was the first and only time afterwards I asked Jack Lanza for a cigarette. When it was over.
Oh, you little fucker.
Here you go. Don't start now, but what the hell?
I would if I were you too today,
Yeah.
It's brick. I think that was one of, if not the last Wrestler's Court, because what we did is showed how to turn it on its head.
Yeah.
How to turn a really ridiculous, asinine, infantile thing on its head is just to, go with it.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a distinct how to and how not to handle Wrestlers Court.
Both were shown
that day.
Both were shown that day.
Yes.
And I'll never forget after too, like we were like, usually the payoff was, a bunch of, like bottles of Jack or like you said, beer or whatever. And then, we had like a week to our sentencing and it was pretty well known that the judge could be bought.
Mm-hmm.
And for a reduced sentence. And so we were just brainstorming here. We're like, what do we do? Let's do something really different, just kind of like what we did with our defense. So we decided, remember the judge really liked Harley Davidsons, and he really liked boxing. So we kind of scoured for a week. We found this like crazy, huge Harley Davidson store. And we bought like this like $150 Harley Davidson coffee table book, like a really rare book. And then we went and we found all these former champion round table interviews with boxing champions, and it was like a whole series. And we bought the whole series of those. And then we went and we just left it in the judge's locker room. And when we left, we found the judge and we just said, "Hey, settlement is in your locker room." And he's like, "All right, I'll assess it and I'll let you know what your sentencing is." And a couple hours later, he walked past us, didn't even look at us, just stopped and said, "Boys, I don't even think there's going to be a blemish on your record." And he keeps walking.
Yeah, what a nice, delightful story. But I should point out that this wasn't from Jay, Adam, and Brian. This is just from Jay and Adam.
Yes.
And only Jay and Adam.
Yeah.
We are the only two people who contributed to this skit. And the only two people whose sentence should be reflected thusly.
As such, yeah.
Yeah. I had to write I think 1,000-word essay on why I respected the business. Which I was happy to do, and I did it, and I got an A+ on it. The judge liked it. I wrote it. I didn't write it like a wise ass. I wrote it sincerely and everything.
Now, and there's some argument to be made that maybe, while I think it was pretty asinine, but strangely fun. Is that a good way to keep, a locker room in check? Or is that just an outdated, a bygone era? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think there's something kind of, I just don't know with how the whole system would work now. We knew who the judge was. We knew, and I think that it kind of, because we were on the road so much, I think it just was a kind of more of a fun thing to do.
It was
if
maybe not for Brian.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if somebody was really kind of fucking up, and it was a way in certain terms to say, hey, your bullshit's not going to be tolerated, right? Yeah. So sometimes I think that, I think they realized when we were doing ours that, okay, maybe this isn't true. These guys are just kind of owning it and whatever, but it was still a fun thing to do. Right? So I don't know. I could see both sides of it.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, it was certainly not necessarily what I'd call fun at the time, but at the end of the day, I'm really glad it happened. I mean, it was very eye-opening. I remember going up to Bob afterwards and being like, so are we cool? And he looked at me and went, no, and walked away. He's awesome, I gotta say. No, we are cool now. I'm just saying at the time.
And I got to tell you another Bob story that will match that one. My first match in WWF was against Bob, May 10th, 1996, Cops Coliseum. I get there 3 hours early. I've probably told this story. Bob's my opponent. He gets there about, 7:30 for an 8 o'clock show, walks up to me. How long you been working? I was like 3.5 years. He goes, fuck, and walks away. I went, okay, all right, so this will be good. But we had a good match. He was happy after. I was like, okay, I just made that curmudgeonly guy happy, and yeah.
But it speaks to something that is very real in the locker room, which is, and I'm not talking about Bob. I'm just saying in general, veterans who've been around for a while and haven't ascended to that. But I'm sure it goes on now a lot in terms of general resentment, maybe. Or maybe it's like happy resentment. I don't know what you want to call it. I can't, speak for other people, but like seeing people who you feel you're more talented than and don't get the same opportunities that a relatively new person comes in, makes friends with the writer who looks like he's 15, and all of a sudden, they're in the main events. They're doing shticks with Triple H and Stephanie, and they're the tag team champions and The Rock. And meanwhile, we're opening up on, at the time, Heat or Velocity or something like that. There's like the genuine, anger does build, and it does, and it's real.
Yeah.
And it comes from a place of wanting to be at the top. Yeah. So it comes from a place of competition and where everyone should want to be if they're in that industry. So it comes from a pure place.
But on the flip side of that too is it's not like being put out in those spots repeatedly and you were in that talent was tanking. They were shitting the bed every time they got put in those spots. They were hitting it out of the park. So it's one of those things too. Like you put somebody in that spot and they obviously can't carry the ball. Yeah. I mean, I get it if that were the case, but it was the other way.
What you're saying is we were awesome, Jay.
I don't think I need to say that. I think everybody knows.
But ultimately it is up to every individual talent to get themselves over. I mean, that's not exactly a secret.
At some point, yeah.
And writers, can help in that process or, not help, but ultimately it's a crutch. You need to get yourself over. And certainly that's what you guys did. I mean, like.
Well, yeah. But also on the flip side of that, this very well, Brian, I had a really tough time when Adam and I split up. And, it was hard for you too, because, being a friend, you were kind of stuck in this spot where, hey, we worked together and we did all this stuff before, what's kind of going on now? Like, what more do I need to do? And there's only so much there has to be that line of professionalism and friendship, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a good period of time where I was frustrated because I wasn't where I wanted to be, or certainly thought that I could be. And, looking back now, I know that it was all stuff that eventually made me a better performer, but at the time it doesn't seem like that. So, I have no idea where I'm going with this, but
it's very deep.
Yeah, it is very deep, Jay. And I just want to bookend the Wrestler's Court Flash story by saying when I got a role on The Flash, the first person I texted was Brian. And I went, hey, guess what show I'm doing? The Flash. And it just felt like, okay, that now closes that story. And we had a good little chuckle together about it. So sorry to upend your deep story, Bird, where you were exposing your soul to us.
No, I was just kind of talking about, whatever it was I was talking about.
You don't even remember now.
Well, there was certainly growing pains when you guys split. I remember that. I remember, because the company, obviously had big plans for Adam and plans for Jay too, but it wasn't, I think you were Intercontinental Champion pretty quickly after that, but I remember there was like, some sort of, the music and the hair and the outfit, and there was like a adjustment period in terms of like getting that to the place where everybody was comfortable, right?
Right. Well, I mean, for me, it was, like I said, looking back now, it was very much, and I didn't see it through clear lenses, right? I was like, why do I have to change myself? Why do I have to do this and why do I have to do that? And I just, instead of just saying, hey, you know what, this is going to separate me from what it was that I was doing and move forward. I was almost like, why do I have to be the one that changes?
Yes, I recall that conversation a lot.
And I couldn't. It was immaturity. It was just not. Like I said, if I hindsight's 20/20, right? And if I could look back now and talk to that kid, I'd be like, look, you fucking moron. This is going to be beneficial to you moving forward if you become completely separate of what it is that you were just doing, and people can see you as your own separate entity. And I didn't have the vision or the wherewithal or the maturity to see that at the time. So.
Well, and the flip side is, no matter what the plans were, I felt a struggle too, because my thing was to keep everything the same, but somehow go from being a comedic heel tag team to a singles babyface that's supposed to be taken seriously while still wearing the same gear, while still having the same hair, while still kind of cutting the same promos, just directed at heels like Billy Bitchcakes and,
doing the stuff with the Wayne's World bit with Kurt and everything on SmackDown and all that.
Yeah. And eventually it did take hold, but there was definitely a floundering period that I felt like, okay, I was in a comfort zone over here while we were together as a team, and we just knew, the three of us would get together, and from those spitball sessions, I'm pretty sure we created the word awesomeness. I could be,
certainly use it in a mainstream form like that,
or reeking of hainosity and all of these things, or on commentary saying we're going to do a run-in, and just all of that stuff came through the three of us all working together. And the benefit of for the benefit of those flash photography, that was all the three of us just compiling ideas, and now it had to be a different thing, which is hard when you do something that is really, really successful because in terms of tag teams, we were the top of the heap, but we always had that discussion is, break up the band before it starts to go downhill, or before it's not fond memories.
Yeah. Well, that was, a big back and forth that I always used to have when the subject of Edge and Christian came up, and it was, they're too goofy. They're never going to be main eventers if they continue to do this type of ridiculousness. And my argument was, I'm sure it was not, eloquated in a nice, elevated, mature way at the time. I'm sure it was probably more like, you're stupid, or running away or something like that. But the point, that I did, I think eventually get across was, it's like, well, you got to start somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. You went from Silent Rage and puffy shirt and evil vampires and running around the subway for some reason. And now you've got an identity. Now, we're doing, what was it? Whatever the Siskel and Ebert parody thing was.
Criskel and Edgebert.
Thank you. I knew Jay would remember.
And Edgebert.
Reviewing the Hardy Home movies and all that. Yeah. And you're gaining popularity. And nobody's saying you're going to be this forever. But now you're gaining confidence on the mic. Now you can go out there, cut a promo. Now I can give Jay one of the worst promo line jokes ever in Dallas regarding JFK and everything that
I remember that one. And let's real quickly touch on it because I was like, I'm not going near that one. That,
You know-
that one.
Everybody says that. I forget. What was the line exactly? It was.
Everyone says that the conspiracy surrounding JFK, was he shot? Was there a second gunman? It doesn't matter because if he'd spent 5 more minutes in this town, he would have offed himself anyway.
That was the reaction. Like Matt just looked up and just did a. Huh?
Yeah.
But you see, that was a commentary on the city of Dallas and the, it was just not a good idea.
No.
You can try and pull layers and go, yeah, well, it was this and it was this. No,
but you don't use. You don't use.
Let you take that one, Jay.
Yeah.
At that time, I was like, yeah, I'll say it. I don't care.
But the intention was to make fun of the town. It was a typical cheap heat thing on
Yes.
the town. It wasn't to make light of the assassination of a president. But yeah, that wasn't.
Well,
smart.
but which is what we did very well. Whether it was Wilson and Buckner in Boston, or the Red Wings and the Avalanche in Detroit, whatever it was, that was kind of became one of our shticks.
Yeah.
Now, so we've had
Kirby
some,
Puckett. Can we just touch on that for a
Yeah,
second?
we should talk about it.
Yes.
So Brian had this promo, and the end was, I can't remember what the whole gist of the promo was, but the end was, see Kirby Puckett because he sure as hell can't see you. And I was like, Brian, Kirby Puckett was blind in one eye. He got hit in the face with a baseball. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think that's what happened to him.
Yes.
And I was like, Brian, I don't know, man. Like he's here with his kids. I don't know. He's like, and you're like, it's. I think people will get it and they'll get you booed and this and that. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. This is like the only one I ever really kind of. And then we were going over the promo with Vince, and it's like, yeah, it sounds good. I said, are you sure about that last line? He's like, yeah, why not? And I went,
well, no, Triple H was there.
Yeah,
Triple H goes, he's fucking blind, right? And then Vince rips off his glasses and he's like, Jesus Christ, you can't say that. My God, that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard. Change the line. Jesus.
So I think I called him a fat weeble instead.
Yeah, we went the high road.
that was a good Triple H.
I remember that very distinctly. But no, it's all that stuff, though, that gave you the ammunition to eventually evolve. That was my roundabout point, to eventually evolve into, the rated R superstar and, I can't really peg Jay's character into one, little catchphrase. I don't want to say the one more match guy because that's not really, doesn't
Captain
get
Charisma,
justice.
you can say that.
No, I guess Captain Charisma, that's true. But yeah, all that
But it was
stuff.
a template. It laid the foundation for us to be able to eventually springboard off into whatever direction it was that we were going to springboard into.
Right. And then when
Hopefully,
when you were doing, heinous things as the rated R superstar, I don't think, there is a bit of a risk. I know when we were trying to get Mark Henry, over as a serious competitor, there's still a lot of people who couldn't shed the fact that he, was dating Mae Young and was sexual chocolate and everything. But when you were doing all the, by the time you were really deep into, rated R superstar stuff, when we invaded John Cena's hometown, which we should probably get to at some point.
Yes.
Nobody was going, I don't buy it because he's the kazoo guy 12 years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
I think too that we always looked at those characters too. Yes, we're doing some goofy stuff. We always try to button it with something that would get us booed at the end, even if people are laughing. But then also we felt like we could make people put the funny stuff aside when we were in the ring and take what we were doing seriously, because we weren't doing comedy spots,
exactly,
and comedy things in the match. We were making people believe that, okay, yeah, these guys can go.
Yes, you guys, there weren't. You guys could speak to that a lot much better than I can, but that's true.
We were always vicious heels when it came time to the match, which is why TLC matches worked, or they'd go, okay, those guys are crazy. They will take any risk along with the Hardys and the Dudleys to make it memorable. So to me, it was always we were trying to be the complete package so that we could still do those TLC matches, but yet still do a promo segment and have it be entertaining and fun and hopefully draw ratings and everything like that. But with the rated R deal, by that point, I had really kind of honed in on how vicious the character needed to be. you know. And yeah, so we go to John Cena's hometown, and we go to his home, which on paper is funny. And, you know, and going into his bedroom where there's a mattress on the floor and stepping all over it, and then, you know, slapping his dad. And it was funny stuff, but it was still, I don't know, it was still very unlikable. But do you want to talk about John's dad's performance?
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. Again, all good intentions. I think John gave us a little warning before we went over.
He gave us a heads up.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, Johnny Fab, huh? I'll have fun with that." And then, so yeah, me and Bruce Pritchard, and we were the co-producers of this. Because we like teaming up together, because, you know, if there was heat, it would at least be split.
Between you, yes.
Yeah, we can at least handle it, you know, together. So you and Amy went to the Cena house, and the idea was, you know, you would go all, you know, make fun of John's upbringing and make fun of his house, and eventually, you know, get into it with his dad and everything. But what we didn't know was Mr. Cena is a bit of a performance artist in his own right.
An artiste.
Yes. So when, like, the line was just like, Edge berates, you know, John Cena's dad, storms off. And then so you berate him, and then he goes, "Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to put you over the edge." And then he looks into the camera. We're like, "The fuck? What?" Like, hey, just Mr. Cena, you know, in this particular set of circumstances, you are just going to stand there and kind of get berated. We're going to, you know, get sympathy for you and your character and everything. Oh, got it. Okay. And so then Amy cuts her promo, and it's like, "Let me tell you something, Chicky Poo. You're nothing. And I'm going to make sure you're both put over the edge." And he kept going back to that for some reason. He was doubling down on the over the edge.
He wanted that in there.
Yeah. And then you had to do your best to stop from laughing and everything. It's like, I don't care if you do it till the cows come home.
that old timey. Yeah. See?
See? Because that's how it works in here in West Newbury, Massachusetts. Like, what is happening? And like, anytime Bruce and I, like, he couldn't help himself. And no. Cena warned us about it. So we put it together, you know, we did the vignettes, we did it, we tried it. And then we get the call from Vince, Bruce and I, and he goes, "Guys, that might have been the worst thing we've ever recorded in the history of this business. I'm extremely disappointed." And then he said Vince said the greatest thing in the world, which I should apologize to Bruce, but I can't. But he goes, you know, it was unusable. It was unprofessional. It was terrible. "Bruce, I'm really disappointed in you." And I'm just like, yes.
All on Bruce.
I agree with that. Bruce, I am too disappointed. I was trying to learn from you. And it was so bad that you eventually had to VO the whole thing, right? The whole thing was muted. So
we muted it, and I had to do live commentary over it.
Yes.
In the ring. That's how bad it was. And Vince told me that. He goes, "That's the worst thing we've ever recorded." I was like, "Oh God, I was a part of the worst thing we've ever recorded."
To be fair, I've been told I've produced the worst thing we've ever done at least a dozen times. But, you know,
yeah,
we set the bar, though.
I'm not used to that. So I was like, "Oh no." So yeah, it was, you know, here's a live mic, and try and do a live ad lib over this
monstrosity,
this atrocity, and somehow have it time out. So that's where down goes Cena. That's, it all came from, you know, ad libbing during this thing. And I think, though, it's something that people still ask me about and talk to me about.
Yeah, you made it work.
It held up.
But I had the similar, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this or not, but a lot of people don't know the only time I ever participated in an in-ring promo segment was with you.
What was it for?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
All right, now I'll smarten you up.
Did you come?
Talking Raw Computer.
Yes. Oh my. Okay. Yes. And you would sit at Gorilla. Yes. Okay. All right. So I thought you meant in the ring.
No.
Okay.
I never was in the ring. I'm a firm believer that writers should not become regular characters.
You don't want to see Oz.
Well, you have enough heat as it is as a writer, to then usurp. It's one thing. Can you imagine, like, you're a professional, you're one of the wrestlers and an up and comer from NXT or somewhere, a new signee, like, quote unquote, takes your spot.
Yeah.
And then to have that exacerbated by a non-working writer come in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
And become world champion.
I mean, that's
that's never happened before.
That's the kiss of death. I mean, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not including Dave Kapoor on this, great Kali's translator, because he was asked to do that. And he is, universally known as the nicest guy on the planet. So like that's a different story. And he suffered an injury, by the way, in a elimination chamber bump that still affects him to this day. But in general, you're not. But it's a good thing to do maybe once or twice to at least kind of like taking bumps. So at least get the performer's perspective and understand that when you write this giant
that is difficult.
Yes, that it is difficult. For the talking, we wanted to put a wrinkle on the raw GM thing, and for the talking computer, I just wanted the truck to magically just basically have a Stephen Hawking voice attached to it. And I guess Vince had never heard a Stephen Hawking's voice. He heard of Stephen Hawking, but he didn't know the voice. Yeah. And several people like who I thought would have my back on this also never heard the voice. So I don't know if they were lying or not, but it's like, so you just have a live mic and we'll pixelate your voice and you do the promo segment. I'm nauseous. I did not want to do that. I mean, I'm camera shy anyway. And even though your face wasn't on camera, it's live. This is raw. There's always that little bit of safety net on SmackDown and everything. I think I can clean it up in post. Not anymore, but back then. Yeah. And so, I tried to. I don't think I've ever tried to get out of something as hard as trying to get out of that in-ring promo segment with you. And then the greatest thing in the world happened. There was this guy. I think his name is Jay Paul. He's the microphone guy up in gorilla position. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And very nice guy. And you cut your promo, and then the ding happens with the computer, and it's my turn. My voice is so, it's like I'm sweating bullets. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go and do it. And I go to talk, and the mic's not working, and I'm panicking. And I look at Jay Paul, and I'm like motioning, like, what's the deal? And he just gives a well, I don't know. You don't know. I mean,
your worst fears all coming to fruition.
Yes, I don't know what you're thinking, but like, get me another microphone. Like,
Yeah, hey, you're back there. Nobody can see you. You want to know what I'm thinking?
Yeah,
exactly. What the fuck's going on back there? I got to fill some space here now.
Yeah. And he's like scrambling. He's like fumbling for a microphone. He finally hands me one, and it's working. And it's like the cheesiest, bad 1979 robot kind of voice. Like all these things you could YouTube and everything. But yeah, we go on and have a conversation, and I get so comfortable at one point that I start improvising with you on that. Yeah. He's got the crazy eyes.
He's got the crazy eyes. Oh no, Edge.
And then you're destroying the computer, and I'm just going, for some reason, just going, ow, ow,
ow, ow, as I'm elbow dropping a computer. Like, and
it was
stupid. It was one of the rare moments where, because I was usually pretty good once I got out there not popping. But that was one of those rare moments where it was really difficult not to. Just the sheer ridiculousness of it, too. Like, I'm arguing with the computer. I think I even said that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. And then the computer selling was the coup de grace, I think.
Ow. Please stop, Edge.
Because you don't respect
That's an elbow dropping.
That's true. Like it's not a voice calling in. It's a sentient being in the in the form of a computer that can feel pain.
I'm actually killing it on live TV. Yeah. So you've been involved, like we said, with like all of these performers over the years. What are the ones that you felt like, okay, that we knocked out of the park, or what's your fondest pieces, that made it to air, that whether they were goofy and funny, like us chasing Brooklyn Brawler in a cane mask, or the chicken suit with Kurt and Jay training to make cruiserweight, or serious things, or like, I'm sure you worked with Dwayne and the whole stuff with, Hulk, and just what are the ones that really stick out for you in all of the stuff you produced?
It's funny, like most promo segments and vignettes and even storylines, it's kind of like I remember reading that the Coen brothers, who are so prolific as filmmakers and everything, don't go back and watch their movies because they're on to the next one. And WWE is so fast paced. And so like the only time I ever really look back is like now that I'm no longer working there and everything, because at the time it's like you don't have time. And that's why writers traditionally, eschew the WrestleMania after party, because
good word. Thank
you. Because there's so many, there's all these execs and everybody kind of like taking the big Admiral Akbar deep breath, going like, job well done. Now we could build to next year. And like next year, like we got a show tomorrow. There's a production meeting going on. But, having said that, I mean, I was involved, I don't like to use the term I wrote, because, obviously you guys know the deal, when you have, talent that are creative and who have a trust with you, you write something out, they take a look at it, they put their own spin on it, you go back and forth and everything, and it's really a collaboration. But to be able to, have that Rock Hogan promo segment in Chicago, which, that is, again, it's like nobody, I don't know if anyone really remembers the actual words of the promo segment, but just to even be associated with that, it's the same thing with, and it's like, well, how do you, it would take a really talented writer to screw this up, but the Sean Brett reunion in, I think it was Dayton, Ohio, when Sean and Brett were finally back in the ring. I mean, as the quote unquote writer assigned to that. And for me personally, and I've said this before, like I always, took pride in the Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho angle that we did for many, many months. Because I was not, I always respected Shawn Michaels, but as growing up and everything, I always rooted for Bret Hart against him. I wasn't like, I wasn't like the Click fanboy or anything like that. Even though my friends and I did follow him to a hospital once after a Syracuse War Memorial house show when we were in college, and they asked my friend for directions to the hospital, and then we followed them there and then got kicked out of the waiting room. Yes, of course. Yeah. But yeah, that Sean, the Sean Jericho thing, which wasn't supposed to be more than, a couple week angle that went eventually, from December into SummerSlam into WrestleMania, that was completely devoid of humor and was completely serious.
Yeah.
That I think I took the most pride in, because, I always liked, I didn't want to, when I first started working there, like, yes, there was like always trying to look for the, I don't want to say do just comedy and stuff like that, but that was kind of where I was, was a comedy writer in LA and everything. And that was completely serious. It was an honest to goodness, I believe, money drawing, huge angle. I got to know Sean better and work with him, which was, really rewarding. And it's something I think fans look back on and, pretty fondly as a storyline and angle too. So I'd probably say that one.
It was Chris and I just saw Chris the other day because he was here for a Fozzy show in Dublin, and we talked about while they were doing that, Taker and I were having our angle on SmackDown, which was really, really just kind of me and Michael and Taker sitting down and kind of formulating this plan. And those two angles were going on each show side by side for so long. And Chris is, saying, they should do a DVD of those two angles just to show how a long-burning, serious, sometimes your opponent isn't even there to carry the other side of it, angle can be. But I do remember that. And I do remember actually competing with that. It's like, okay, I got Sean and Chris over here. I got me and Taker over here. That's what we're competing against. This is cool. It was a good thing.
And that's, those are the, when you put a lot of thought and storyline and effort into, thought and effort into a storyline versus, and then at the end of the show, Kane's going to say he's a murderer. That's Although I got to say, I mean, I'm trying to find a segue into this. That sort of thinking kind of, gave birth to the untold sad ballad of Little Dave Bautista.
Well, I was wondering, do we close out the whole pod? I was going to ask you what we're into now, and then maybe end it on the ballad of Little Dave Bautista. I don't know. What do you think's a better closer, Jay?
I think we should probably close it out with Little Dave Bautista.
Right. That feels like the bookend.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to get any bigger than that. That's the problem.
But we should. Okay, so then we should talk then about what really happened first.
Okay. Yeah, we agreed.
Are we done with the story, or are we done?
No,
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll get to the untold sad ballad of Little Dave Bautista, but
We will.
Yeah.
We will. But first, we want to talk about what we're doing now.
Yeah,
Yes.
because let's be honest. You didn't really want to come on here because you're
No.
buddies with us and you want to talk about our whole past. You wanted to talk about this exciting podcast that's coming up.
There's an agenda, and we can
Yeah.
admit that. We don't write anything for this show. We just wing it. We fly by the seat of our pants, sometimes to our own detriment. But this time, I think it's working.
Brian,
because now we're going to...
This is a
Say it.
thank you for your parents being so gracious
Oh.
and feeding us well.
You're welcome. I hope
Feeding
you
us
enjoyed
that
the matzo ball soup that
imaginary
eluded
matzo
Hurricane's
balls.
imagination. Yes.
So what really happened, and I did the promo and the spot for it, and it sounds awesome.
It is awesome. It's already out. By the time, the first episode about Muhammad Ali is already out. By the time this podcast airs, assuming that's like this Friday or something, then
It is.
the second episode on Chris Christie and Bridgegate will have come out. And so this is a podcast that I do, $7, which is Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia's production company. We've teamed with documentarian Andrew Jenks, who's very, very skilled and a great storyteller and very smart and creative, along with Mega Matt and the folks at Cadence 13, formed a super group of sorts and have come out with this podcast, which, I know the world was just screaming for another wrestling podcast, but we decided to go another way. So this podcast, What Really Happened, basically, it's not a conspiracy theory podcast. It basically takes historical events or figures, famous events, and basically takes narratives that people think they know the story about and re-examines it and completely does a deep dive into it to explore what actually happened in this thing. So, for instance, like the first episode about Muhammad Ali allegedly talked a man off of a ledge from committing suicide in 1981. Walter Cronkite reported it on the news. Pretty straightforward story. But then the more Andrew Jenks did a deep dive into it, there were some things that didn't quite make sense. So the guy who was claiming to jump claimed to be a Vietnam vet. He was actually way too young to be a Vietnam vet. The actual saving of the guy occurred. Broke into the news cycle the same day President Reagan was getting inaugurated as president. Reagan being an outspoken critic of Ali. There was, a bigger kind of question in terms of Ali wasn't being able to get his boxing license because he wasn't deemed lucid and able to actually, think clearly at the time. And so what, kind of, if you think about it, what better way to prove how lucid you are and how good a communicator you are than to do what all these, police and people couldn't do, which is actually talk a man down from a ledge from committing suicide. So it's really, and Andrew explores all these angles, asks a lot of questions, interviews a lot of people, and it's a podcast we're really proud of.
No, it's not. I haven't had a
So
chance to
it's
listen
an
to it yet.
audio documentary, basically, because I'd never heard this story. So when I first, I got the copy for the promo, I went, whoa, okay, I didn't even know that this happened, and I'm an Ali fan, and I didn't know that happened. So there's so many things that you guys can touch on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so we
Let me ask a
cover.
question.
Go ahead.
You're saying you're like these subjects like this. Like I never even had heard that story before. So where do you come up with the concepts for what he's going to investigate? How long does it take for him to do the investigation on each episode?
It takes him a while. He's been researching Ali for years, actually. This was originally going to be, sorry, I'm turning into Marty Funkhauser here. This was originally going to be like the
Fuckmeister.
a documentary that we were exploring. And then, as we were exploring it, and then we were looking at other things about Bridgegate and what surrounded Britney Spears, when she had her meltdown, and Michael Jordan when he quit basketball to, play baseball, and Princess Di and World War II. And like, the more like we started accumulating these stories, more like, rather than focusing just on Ali, let's make a series out of this. And so, we got together with everyone here at Cadence, and, Matt is like finally a real podcast that I could finally work on, and not this Ed and Christian
fly-by-nighters
bullshitting with each other for an hour. It's okay. We'll just edit that. But yeah, he pours in a lot of work, and we've been working on this for months into the build-up of the show. So, and he's a documentarian. I mean, he's directed documentaries on ESPN, and he has his docs on Netflix. So he's very skilled at the art of telling a story like this.
But to Jay's point, that's got to be a lot of work, in order to, to be able to really dive in and pull apart these different sides of stories.
No doubt. It's a much different atmosphere than showing up in a production meeting in Peoria, Illinois, and going, all right, let's do a promo segment about the 6-man tag match.
Yeah.
Quite a bit more effort.
I like that you used Peoria.
Thank you.
I like that you've formed this super group. You basically have, accumulated the traveling Wilburys of podcasting.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, with Tom Petty just passing, it seems like a great reference.
We're almost at the end of the line of this podcast.
Oh, nice. Well done. That's why you're a writer, my friend.
Thank you.
So, okay. So, do you feel like it's time to
unleash
sing?
the story of the untold sad ballad of little Dave Bautista?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I will just say What Really Happened, available to download now. It's a
Spotify,
yes.
Stitcher,
Everything.
Google Play.
All of
your
them.
podcasts.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
Wherever you get this one, you get that one.
Exactly. Doing
That's
very
my-
well.
that's my-
I
my
think
big
it's in
sell.
the top 15 of all podcasts right now.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
giddy up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's saying something.
Yeah.
We're like in the top 950.
Well, yeah. Well, now,
Of wrestling podcasts.
but now the buzz surrounding the untold sad ballad of little Dave Bautista will, skyrocket.
It's going to put us over the top.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is actually a good story in terms of how even when you guys go off to do singles things, you can't keep the Edge and Christian out of Edge and Christian, too long.
Right.
No,
So
it's
I
always
don't know
there.
if you guys know the backstory on this, because this is a great backstory. Like, again, everything is done for the right reasons. It's just not executed the right way sometimes. So one day we were in the writer's room and Vince told us, you know what, damn it, characters need backstories. We don't know anything about these guys when they come in. We need nuanced, layered backstories. I'm like, okay. Like, all right, so with that in mind, and then I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. What if Dave Bautista was a foster child? Like, what? Like, no, he's a foster. That's why he's got a chip on his shoulder. That's why Rick, because he's in Evolution at the time, Rick is his, kind of father figure. So, like, all that kind of makes sense. Okay, he's a foster child. That's why when someone attacks Rick, he gets all worked up because he has a real life respect for Rick and he's his father figure. Like, great. So Vince kind of lays out this promo for Flair where it's this very like nuanced, interesting story about how Dave was abandoned as a kid and bounced around from foster home to foster home and grew a chip on his shoulder. And so, okay, it's my job to take that and kind of, not rewrite it completely, but just, get it form in a form where it makes sense for television and everything. And, a little less rough.
And still keeps them heels.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's still, a jerk. I think. Yeah. I don't know. At this point, we just wanted to, as you know, there aren't Emmys for wrestling writers. Nobody, J.J. Abrams safe, in 2005. Yeah.
There's not a Slammy either. Yeah.
But when I was working on this thing, I'm thinking, this is it. This is going to be the promo that changes everyone's perspective on the world of wrestling because it's that good. So in the production meeting, I'm reading this promo. Rick has pulled Dave aside. He's like, all right, big man, now listen. I know why the pain inside of you feels like it's growing every day, and because of your history of being a foster child and like all this type of stuff. And as I'm reading it in the production meeting, I see Vince take his, peripheral vision. He doesn't like it when I do this, but I see this giant X being formed over this precious promo that I spent all weekend working on. Because he's like, God, it's so boring. Gee, you're putting me to sleep. I'm like, but you wrote most of this. No, my God. So, I don't know, if you go, maybe I'm remembering it differently. If you go on the air, this is what actually aired, is a vignette. This is the whole backstory. We need backstories. It's Rick warming up Dave and going, all right, big man, tonight, you're going to walk down that aisle. Woo! Because you're an animal. You're the man. You're also a foster child. Now, later tonight. That's the whole thing. One little throwaway, like,
You're also a foster child. Oh, by the way.
yeah. And never mentioned again, ever. So, I think this was during the time when, as Edge and Christian characters, you guys were infamous, and when we would do this for fun, even the ones that didn't air, for putting words to people's theme songs.
Yes.
So I believe we were in catering. This might have even been in Japan. I don't remember exactly where it was. But this is when we took I can't let this backstory thing just die with that one throwaway line. So we got together, and then it turned into taking Dave's theme with a rock opera.
Your own lyrics.
Yeah, with a rock opera with his real parents and Dave as a child. And so it was like, if you remember Dave's theme, it was just like, we're so sorry, little Dave Bautista. We must leave you with this foster family. Sorry.
So we dubbed it the Ballad of Little Dave Bautista.
Yeah, the Ballad of Little Dave Bautista. We must leave you with this. And then you have Dave singing like the other part of the song. You want to take that one?
I don't know if I can hit the note properly like you can. No. Why did you go?
Must you leave? I'm so scared on my own. Irregardless, little Dave Bautista, we still must leave you with this foster family. And then...
Irregardless was my favorite part.
I remember the three of us singing this to Dave in catering, who I think was amused by it the first time.
Yeah. But when we would sing it randomly, like when I would work him and sing it to him, he didn't find it quite as funny. But
no, I think around month 3.
Yeah.
I'm so scared by myself. Duly noted, little Dave Bautista. We still have to leave you with this family. They just wouldn't leave. They just kept singing, why they had to leave.
Just rubbing the salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Like, we're still going to stand here. We're still going to leave you.
They're kind of dicks.
Just tell you
in the
repeatedly.
song.
Yeah. In the song, they're assholes.
So there you go. That's the end result of we need backstories in our programming. Was the
this is basically the creative maelstrom that created.
that could have been an episode of What Really Happened.
That's a good point. I sense bonus episode.
Yeah. Bonus content.
What really happened when we were told
Dave
characters
Bautista.
needed backstories and Dave Bautista became a foster child.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part too is the fact that Flair gets that promo, because Flair is not that promo guy.
No.
Flair is the great ad lib, like high energy and all of those things. That's
energy,
Ric Flair.
Visceral energy that comes from the gut, not like, in 1971 when Stan and Judy Bautista decided they needed to change it in their lives. You can't give that to Rick.
No, wrong guy for that.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
I mean, it's so funny that it's that he would be the one to say that to him.
To try and, but so I like the way it happened. Like, we're gonna go get him. Woo, you're the animal. Woo, you're the beast, and you're foster child. Woo, and leave.
And that's it.
and Dave, like, okay,
Yeah.
like.
Dave gave a look of, I feel the audience completely understands the dynamic of our relationship now, thanks to that gripping backstage promo.
Man. Jeez.
Well, buddy, it was a lot of laughs.
This was fun. This was worth the wait.
And we should probably let you go. You have a doctor's appointment in 40 minutes.
I do.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if you want to that out
thanks
there, but it is now.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Thanks for divulging his medical history to everyone,
Yeah.
Jay. Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm going to post your phone number on.
Oh, cool.
Twitter after this.
I'll post your Words with Friends handle
please do.
so everyone can enjoy. Happy birthday, Adam. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Good
Thanks,
talk
Bri.
to you.
Good talk, man.
See you, Bri. Well, that was a nice chat. It was good to catch up with Brian. I basically laughed like I have iron lung. I don't know if that's an actual medical condition, but that's
Let's be honest, though. I mean, that wasn't really like an interview. It's basically like three buddies catching up because we probably all haven't been in the same room together in probably a couple of years.
Although we weren't still in the same room, just so you know.
No, but I mean, we're all like, in the same conversation. So it was
There
good.
we go.
It was just like, you knew it was going to be that way too, right? Like, we talked about a few things and asked them a couple questions, but it was more like just buddies reminiscing and catching up.
Shooting
and
the poo.
So kind of all over the place. But hopefully people enjoyed what they heard and realized, his impact on the wrestling business for many years. He was a very big part of a lot of the things you saw on television, and a lot of the performers, the top names doing big, cool things. So it was cool to get his, and we'll definitely have him back for part 2.
Because there's so much
stuff to
that
talk
he can
about,
talk about.
stuff that just people don't know, and really what a tough job he had to kind of steer that ship, right? Like, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not at all, because he would be the sounding board, because a lot of people wouldn't talk to Vince, so they would vent their frustrations or their ideas to Brian, as well as other people. But so from a political standpoint, from trying to be, he had to be part psychologist, part therapist, part writer, part producer. That job,
part punching bag.
It's you got to wear a lot of hats, and it's a tough gig.
Good chat, Brian.
Good chat. Oh, hey, and guess what? In the meantime, I said
I forgot to say this too. There's something I used to call Brian. He used to hate it. I used to call him CK.
CK.
It was short for career killer. And he used to hate it because I used to tell him, I was like, "You're the pencil man." I said, "You have people's careers in your hands," and I would call him CK. And I was like, "What's up, CK?" And that was the only time he'd truly get mad when I called him CK, because he knew, like, I told him it's dead for career killer. But
good old CK.
I should have called him that on the pod. I forgot.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Brian, it was good talk, CK.
In the meantime of our pod, I love the emails that I get every year for my birthday from Paul Rubens. He will send me, for Pee Wee Herman, for those that don't put the two and two together. This year he sent me Kiss blowing out a birthday cake.
That's pretty cool.
Eric Carr era Kiss. So
that was pretty badass.
That's pretty cool. That's the randomness that is my life, Bird.
I'm not cool enough to know Pee Wee Herman.
You do have to be pretty cool to know Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, but you got to be pretty cool to know Paul. So sorry. You know people.
I guess
you
my
know people.
birthday wish is in the basement of the Alamo.
What?
See, you don't even know Pee Wee's Playhouse, man. Come on.
Oh, well, I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah. Good call. Okay.
No, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Sorry.
See,
Pee Wee's Playhouse was his Saturday show. Pee Wee's Big Adventure was the movie.
All right. So anyway, we had, before you decided to join us, grace us with your presence, Brian, Matt, and I were talking about Enya, the Irish musician. Yeah. Do you know anything about Enya, Bird?
Right now I'm up Enya.
What? Right now. That was brutal.
Yes, I do know of the musician.
She's fucking gangsta. Like, I had no idea. No idea. You want to know how I discovered this?
How?
I live down the street from her, and she lives in a fucking castle.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Enya has a castle on the coast. It's a well-known thing. So she lives over top of Bono. Like, that's what happens when you don't have to split royalties.
That's
right?
legit. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, of course, I go down the wormhole and realize she sold 80 million albums.
My goodness.
And she wears velvet dresses and lives in a castle. And they have a term in the music industry called Enyanomics to explain how she continues to sell 3 million units every album, even in today's climate. She sells as much as Beyonce.
That's insane. It really is.
Right?
But I mean, if you're good, then people will continue to buy your music.
I guess so.
Or your art. It doesn't necessarily equate just to music. I guess it could be for, same thing with wrestlers, for actors, artists that paint, that draw, that whatever. It can
The former wrestlers that podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. So go on the Google machine, go on the Googleplex, and just do a little Enya search, and it will blow your brains, because I had no idea.
That is crazy. It's very crazy.
Until I became her neighbor.
So how's your castle then compared to hers?
It's not quite as big. My castle isn't as big now. But I didn't sell 80 million albums either. I just won 11 world championships. So
Good on her, being
Hey, she didn't beat The Undertaker. That's all I got. All right. Well, so
good for you,
good
Andy.
show.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, squad goals, eh?
Squad
Try to be
goals.
like Enya.
Right? That's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You
Be
smell
like Enya.
annoying and try to be like Enya.
Yeah. All right.
There
I'm
you
done
go.
for the day.
Yeah, me too. All right,
Thanks,
Bird.
Brian. Hey, if you guys get a chance to check out what really happened, you can download it the same place you download E&C Pod, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, Brothers.
Yep. Reach us at E&C Pod on the Twitter machine, at Edge Rated R, and at Christian4Peeps.
Mm-hmm.
Send us some questions this week. Who knows? Maybe by next week we'll answer them.
Yeah. If I was professional, I'd have that piece of paper here with information on it. It's buried. It's on my desk somewhere.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, they know. They know by this point, Bird.
Yeah, they know.
All right. Well, yeah. Chat
Okay,
with y'all next week, folks.
I'm going through these papers.
Oh, God. All right, so I got to fill the time.
No. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Sure, you're making the exact
Just
call
go
there,
through.
are you?
All right. Wait, I found it.
Oh,
I found it.
we are so unprofessional.
At E&C Pod of Awesomeness. Oh, no, that's not it.
Oh, my God.
EC Pod of Awesomeness at gmail.com.
That's right. Yeah. And voicemails, what's the number they can call us?
929-367-8204. And shut the fuck up while I read this. 929-367-8204.
Yeah, but somebody had to remind you to read it.
Suck it.
That is Kane with the throat gimmick. Suck it. When he couldn't talk at that point, remember?
Yeah.
X-Pac, and I tell you to suck it. Which we still do to Glenn to this day, and he still hates. I think that's a good way to end it. All right, Bert. I'm sick of you. Bye-bye.